Yesterday, Andrea Tintaros filed a lawsuit against Ailes, who we've already established has other sexual harassment allegations against him. And, we'll see what happens with this, but it's so interesting to me how, if you were to ask me a year ago, what's Fox's biggest problem, I'd probably say, um, I guess having a whole bunch of conservatives, which, they'll argue the other stations are fully liberal, so that's that. But I never would have guessed that the guy who's, in charge of the station is like this or was like this or I don't even know anymore. Um, and all the more allegations just keep convincing me. Okay, this has to be correct. They wouldn't be making this up. Like, there's too many of them for me to think, oh, there's nothing to this. They're just all crazy. They're just trying to get him. I don't think all of the women at Fox that have made these claims got together and went into a room and just said, okay, well, we're going to get this man for everything he has. And it's kind of what I want to get into a little bit further, which is the whole process of believing before, you know, some type of, I don't want to say proof, but, I guess just believing before the person gets convicted if they did something. So, we've had rape cases before, and I've noticed that most of the time when we have these, I genuinely uh, attempt to stay kind of in the middle because I don't know if the woman's lying, if the man's lying. I always ask myself, what does the woman have to gain by lying? And I know a lot of times it's with celebrities, but I mean, I don't see any woman being this much in love with the idea of taking someone else's wealth that they would fabricate this. And there probably have been cases where that's been the case. And if there are, well, I stand corrected, but I don't know of any personally. And because of that, I'll admit I kind of have a bias to where, I don't want to criticize the victim, which I've seen that happen so many times with these different cases. I remember when the Kobe case happened several years ago. People were talking about, oh, she wanted it, she wanted it. Yeah, she lured him in the bedroom and trapped him. It felt so unnecessary to me. And I thought even back then it was kind of victim blaming to the extreme, uh, and almost an attempt on their part to just completely deny any involvement of his. They almost made her appear to be the rapist, which I knew wasn't the case, but they just made it seem as if she orchestrated this whole thing to a T, and I didn't feel that was realistic. Uh, and it just all of it seemed bizarre to me. Back at that time, I was much younger. Apologize for the ums and I'm making this up as I go along. I don't have a script or a teleprompter to read off like some of our favorite politicians, but I'm giving it all I have and winging it. You also look at cases where they've had, they've gone to court. This hasn't gone to court yet, but cases where they've gone to court and people sit in there and they'll, present their arguments and their sides of the stories. And even when that stuff is being broadcast or when I'm hearing different things, I've seen people say the same thing, that these women are attempting to get something out of this. And I just always think to myself, let's say situations were reversed and I don't know, a man is saying this stuff about a woman. What do they have to gain from that? Yeah, you might get some of their money, but do you really want to carry the mantle of it, at least in your mind? I'm the person who lied to get some cash, to get a couple of dollars. I mean, really ask yourself that. Do you really feel if you're lying, if you're truthfully lying, if you're lying and you know that the person did not rape you, you're really going to go to such lengths to get a couple of dollars? I can't see it. It's never made sense to me. And there are cases where people will lie about injuries. Go, oh, my arm, I'm suing for 5 grand, that kind of thing. But I've never really had that kind of indication with any of these cases so far that I've heard about or that I've read or that I know. And honestly, I can see where some people would kind of get the whole idea of victim blaming, and kind of ignore it. So say you're related to the person who's being accused of, or had the allegations hurled at them. I really would not, look at you in a negative way if you just kept trying to deny it because you really like the person that is being accused of these things. I understand it, but we get into a we get to a point where there's too much circumstantial evidence, and you still feel that way. I can't really. The sympathy is it's dying down a little bit. And again, it's not to say that you're messed up for thinking something differently than I do, but it's just a situation where we have opinions that at some point or another can be disputed by facts, can be argued against, which I guess any opinion can be, but we have different levels of just credence with what we believe and what we view, and a lot of that is backed up by fact. And if it becomes fact that these actions did transpire and you're still denying it, then yeah, we kind of have an issue there. You sort of see that sometimes with people like Damon Wayans over here talking about Bill Cosby didn't do any of that. Those women, they're just mad because they can't get with them anymore. And that always bothered me so much. I just chose to never really make a video about it, or at least I don't think I did. I got so many of them now. Um, because I didn't want to, perpetuate the whole thing of if one says he did it, that means everybody's right. But, there's too many of them for me to think, oh, there's nothing to this. Am I supposed to just believe that they're all jealous, bitter women, all 30 of them? Tell you the truth, I can't believe more than two of them are that way. Because no one would go to these lengths to get back at someone that, they feel scorn them. As far as, to collectively. So you might have that one woman that goes, Cosby's the one that got away. But what about the others? You're telling me all the other ones are saying, or just they all got together in this little room and sat down at these different seats and went, yeah, he's the guy who did it. He's the person who, put us in this position. We're going to come after him for all he has. I don't even buy that because it doesn't make sense to me, um, to even go that route. And again, this is as a group. It's completely believable to me that one would do that, maybe two, but not together. Or maybe if it were, that's still rare. Yeah, I don't see a cabal of women lining up to mess with one guy. And I really hope that in the time since he's made those comments, he's thought about what he said. He did get some controversy for it, but I didn't think it was the level that, you know, he would have learned from it or gone, oh man, that was really messed up what I said. I want to make a retraction. Because he really believes in Cosby, and, no one's saying he can't have that view. But it's problematic to me when, we have to make it to where it's at the expense of all the other people involved. Okay, you make one guy look good, but you make these other 30 women look like something else by your comments. You could just say, okay, I don't think this stuff happened, I know Cosby, whatever. He just said no, all of them are lying. And again, look at those numbers. Um, there's a really coordinated effort if he's to be believed. And like I said, they all got in the room, gathered together, were dining, and said, "All right, we're gonna get Cosby today. We're gonna write out our papers. We're gonna make our allegations. Yeah, we're gonna get us some cash." Who really believes that? And I know he did. I know he didn't believe that. I know he didn't think that they all just collectively joined up in arms and said, "Yeah, let's get him." He knows that he personally would probably laugh at himself if he believed that. As in, he would see a version of himself that believed that and then go up to them and go, oh, what do you think happened with the Cosby case? Oh, well, I think, 30 women sat together and collectively masterminded this idea to come and, say that he did this to them. He would laugh at himself for thinking that because it just, there's nothing to it. It's ridiculous. It's not even practical. I gave the other examples earlier, but that one is not even. Just get that out of here. That's the kind of thing that makes the judge just start giggling or, annoyed. Probably both to an extent. Yeah, I'm gonna end it here because that's kind of where we're kind of getting off the whole serious note, and I actually am starting to kind of lose my temperament a little bit as this gets crazier and crazier. So, bottom line is, if you see any allegations against anybody about rape, don't take either side immediately. Just try to learn as much as you can about the case. Um, if somebody is accused by multiple people, still give it a thought and not just immediately think it's them. But also, don't lie to yourself and say, "Oh well, there's no way they could have done it. That's absolutely inconceivable." No, just don't even allow yourself to have the mind that is open, but is also accepting of its biases. I have biases and I accept them, and they're geared in a certain direction towards a certain you know agenda of wanting things to make sense. And I try to just kind of remove my emotion from little the courtroom decisions. So that's kind of how I view things. But regardless, thank you for watching and have a good day.